You're struggling with any kind of challenge that you just can't seem to overcome or recover from, this video will show you how I overcame some areas from a stroke in 2009. Now this process will work not only with myself, but with you also. That way you can always win. In 2009, I was in San Antonio, Texas with a client, and I suffered an ischemic stroke. Well, what that means that I have what's called a blood clot, alright, that prevented blood from getting to my brain. Now because the blood clot, it left me with what's called left side paralysis, which means my left side was totally disabled. Now I don't know about you, but that was very scary for me. I felt my life was over. Then I went through rehabilitation, therapy, lots of therapy. But on my way back to California from San Antonio, Texas, I made up my mind I was going to take things into my own hands. Well, the first thing I did was that I began to make up my mind not to be discouraged. You see, it's so easy to be discouraged, disenchanted, worried, because things just don't work like they used to work. But then when I made my mind up, I was not going to be discouraged, that's when things began to change. The second thing I did was to have a very positive attitude. You see, I have read books about having a positive attitude and how it works, and it does work. As I began to have more of a positive attitude, my whole body began to change again. People would always ask me, well, Nate, how are you doing? At first, I would just tell them, well, you know, this is going on, that's going on. Then I said, no, I began to feel my body being pulled down. So then I began to change my responses. They would say, Nate, how are you doing? And I would respond by saying, you know what? I'm on top. And they would say, wow. They would begin to laugh. Well, you see, it was no laughing matter to me. You see, my condition was no joke. But as I began to change the way I responded by saying I was on top, believe it or not, my body began to change. Same thing with you. Change how you respond to people. The thing I began to do was I began to do things I could not do. Sit up in bed, get my own glass of water, read. I could not read frontwards or backwards. I couldn't count from 100 to 1 by threes. Couldn't do it. My mind was shot. It's amazing how things just mess up. You see, with a stroke, if you have a stroke on your right side, it will affect your left side. But now, as I begin to practice, I begin to really make things happen. So I began to do things I couldn't do. I'm going to read the book by Stephen Covey. There's 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. And there's one rule he had in there. And he said this: always see the end in mind. So that's what I began to do. I began to see the end in mind. As I began to see the end in mind, I began to recover reading and also counting. Well, then I began to practice. Going to the park to try to walk, try to relearn how to walk, was really a trip. But as I began to practice perfectly, things began to come back. Not right away, but very subtly. As you begin to practice, no matter what it is, things will come back for you all. The final thing I did was I began to journal. As I begin to practice, when I go back to my car and sit there, I get my journal out and I would write down what worked, what didn't work, my fears, my scaredness. Different things will begin to happen. As I begin to journal, I begin to learn about my fears, my challenges, and I begin to improve. Begin to use a journal and write down things about you and what you can do also. It will work.